Oh man, I love that intro. It's probably super dorky, but man, I could just listen to that all day long with the fish, even though I like your intro too. I don't know if you can ever see me backstage, but when yours is going,
I can see. Yeah, I can see you backstage.
Well, thank you everybody for coming over. Probably people are still trickling over since there was no links. But if you got here, thank you so much. And tonight we're going to be talking about snails. And I thought basically snails could go everywhere, but they actually do have like the best snail for the right situation. So I thought we would talk about that. But before we do that, I want to say thank you because I've got some neat stuff in the mail. Is that cool? And I've got, now I did get my Secret Santa thing, but I'm not going to pull that out yet. But this could be part of my Secret Santa thing. I don't want to show the address. I don't know who sent this to me, but it's this really cool sticker. It says, keep your hands off keep your filthy hands off my tank mitts. It would help if I would read it before I just say it. But these two cool stickers, but there's no name or anything. So whoever gave me these, thank you so much. It really made me smile quite a bit, and I'm going to find the perfect spot for it. I thought about putting it on the back of my truck, too, though.
All right.
But maybe that'd be weird. I don't know.
Well, you can maybe stick the smaller one on your truck and the filthy mitts one maybe on your door or something entering the fish room since you have it all on a cumulative. But those are really awesome. Warning, don't touch my fish tank. Violators will be prosecuted.
That one should be in Lucas's.
Yeah.
When I go into Lucas's fish room or fish house, I'm like afraid to touch anything because everything is so spotless.
It's immaculate. It really is.
I think he has that disease where you can't handle any dirt. You know, what's that? OCD or OD?
Obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have that. He's just super tidy. But
I think he's just very efficient and wise in his ways.
Well, thank you, whoever sent that to me. That's awesome. And I can't see chat right now. You know what? How about James? You start saying hi to people so I can bring up my chat, and then I can keep thanking people for stuff I got in the mail.
Absolutely. I would love to. I've not gotten to say hellos on mine a lot. And part of the reason I know most of you all are from mine as well, so I can explain to you. It kills the replays, and it kills people just entering the stream. They get stuck on 3 minutes of hellos, and then they just leave. And so we don't want to shy away new fish keepers from joining our group. But I do want to say hello to Brianne Farrell, Mridul Singh, Sarah J. Sieber, Dave's Aquarium Thoughts, Collins Critter Cave, Geek Boy, John Cox, Dragon Lair, Mississippi Hippie, Cody Frazier, Sandy Doty, Edgar Reyes, I Hate Stupid People, Tim Carter, Gina French, Pewfish Zone, Mike's Aquatics and Things, New Tank Syndrome, YEG, Von Lurker, Fishkeeper Cole, William Pridemore, I think I already got you, but hello again. Whips World, Bird Gardens here, how's it going, Rack? Holly Gibbs, the Zen Ginger, Chevy Fish, Patty, and they jumped on Rico Stan, probably going to be lurking again, and he's probably going to go to bed in the middle of this. We appreciate that, Rico. I think I got most of you. I think I got you. If I didn't, hello. We love you. We appreciate you being here. Do me a favor. If you're here, you came over from Fish Room Fever, and you haven't subscribed to Chattanooga Ed, please hit that subscribe button. Ed's got an awesome fish store, and we've got plans for 2021. And one of the things that Ed would like to be able to do is live stream from his phone. Can't do that until he hits 1,000 subscribers. He's almost there. So I just want to encourage you, help my buddy out.
That was really creepy when I first held it up. Well, that would be awesome. I would love to get there someday. And I noticed that Levi asked, where can he get our stickers? I'm actually going to be mailing out about 5 of them tomorrow, 5 letters.
Nice.
So, yeah, the whole quarantine thing really set me back. But everybody in my family is completely clean, so we can eat dinner together again, and it's nice. I'm the only person who didn't get it, which is awesome because I'm the guy with the heart problems.
Yeah.
So that was a major bonus. So what you do, and if you can do it tonight, go to my Facebook page, and if you're not my friend on Facebook, my name is Chattanooga Ed. I think I'm the only Chattanooga Ed on Facebook. And if not, you'll see my symbol, which is that symbol. And, I think I just muted you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Mr. Fish, sir, says, I missed him again. Brad, I am sorry. Mr. Fish, sir, really cool guy. We got to meet him this year talking about our previous discussion that we had in my stream, but Brad's a cool guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Fish, sir. I didn't mean to miss you.
Yep. Well, so go to my Facebook, be my friends, give me your address, and I'll mail it out with the other stuff tomorrow.
And I mailed out almost 24 this past Monday. I'm trying to go every Monday and mail them out. So if you want stickers, you can email me, fishroomfever@gmail.com, and I can get you my stickers mailed out. It's taking a little bit of time in the post. It's taking about a week right now for stickers to get there.
This is from Catfish Terry, and I won't show up what he said, but look, he did a painting on the top part of the card.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
That is.
So I'm going to feel bad, but afterwards I'm going to cut this out and, put that in with my art stuff, and he's going to go on my YouTuber Art Hall of Fame. So that was super cool. Thank you, Catfish Terry. I don't know if he's here. I wanted to say something when he was in your stream when he did the raid, but I didn't want to interrupt. And
I didn't even see the raid, and I appreciate that, Terry. I do, but it's a blessing and a curse. It's great that we've been growing on the Fisherman Fever channel, but with the growth means if it's not highlighted, I'm really not getting to pick out the stuff that's not highlighted like I used to. A lot of times there'd be 2 or 3 minutes between highlighted questions in the chat, and I could hang out and pick up every little thing. And so now I'm missing stuff that's not highlighted. But thank you for the raid, Terry, and I appreciate it. And it's always good to see you.
And then Amy from Sand Creek Aquatics 2. I was about to say, I don't know what I was going to say. I couldn't think of the sand for some reason. But and she sent me a big sticker. I mean, this is like double the size of my sticker, and it is a super high quality one. And I love it because it has her wiener dog in there too.
Yes, a huge thank you to Amy at Sand Creek Aquatics too. I also got a card and a sticker, and I really do appreciate that, Amy. It meant a lot. Thank you for the kind words and the sticker very much.
I'm a real big fan of her wiener dog. It's so cute. I like any dog that's not going to bite me, so I pretty much like anything furry. But
Absolutely.
So, and then I won't do the Secret Santa thing yet because I don't know when we're supposed to do that. I think Jess said something about the 21st or something. So I'm going to hold off on that. So, but thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And let's also talk about Catfish Christmas real quick.
Okay. It's your show, buddy. Take it away.
Yep. Well, Catfish Christmas, I don't want to forget because you guys only have what is it? It's the 17th. So we got 13 more days to get in your submissions for your catfish. It can be any type of catfish. I was going to start listing names of catfish, but I'm not going to do it. You guys all know what a catfish is. You guys get to post it. And there's going to be a link the links don't work.
Yeah, links not working.
So if you go to the website on Facebook, and I think it's called the Fish Community. What's it called, Zen? If you guys go onto Facebook or go to one of the past videos, you can get a link and go there. Make sure you guys get your submissions because you don't want to miss out. I don't know what's going to be given away. James and we've both been I guess off and on sick and stuff. We had my shirt made and then we didn't, but I'm going to guarantee, no, I better not guarantee, but I want to guarantee that I will be giving out my shirt to the grand prize winner, but I'm afraid that maybe we'll still not get the shirt done. It's terrible. But yeah, so but you can win prizes and it's a lot of fun. And it's over January 1st. So you guys got to get them in, please. The judges are Guppy Guru, James, this guy. Yep. Me. Have we heard, is Rack going to do it again?
I do not know, but he is in the chat. Real quick, I wanted to say, for those of you that don't do Facebook, because somebody asked about getting your stickers but doesn't do Facebook, send me an email. I've got to get a hold of more Ed stickers because I have 0 right now. But ideally, I would just send out some with mine if I had the stickers from Ed. And now that he's out of quarantine, we can make that happen.
Yep. Oh gosh, what else? Oh, well, and so we got 3 categories. You can print it, or photos, videos, and art. Was mentioned. Oh, judges. Lisa from KG is in it. James, Guppy Guru, the Zen Ginger, Lefty, and I do a show with Lefty tomorrow at 4:30. It's always a lot of fun, and hopefully Rack. So we have a lot of fun doing that stuff. So guys, don't miss out. It'll be good. Well, should we get into snails?
Absolutely. Let's get into the topic of tonight. Because as you mentioned, there are specific snails that are great for specific aquariums. There are also some snails that you want to avoid in certain setups too. And, you know, a lot of people may not know about that. We've got 87 watching, 53 thumbs ups. I appreciate you all supporting my buddy Chattanooga Ed here. I will be back on camera momentarily. I'm trying to clean up a mess on my desk here.
Okay. And then I thought, I put down 9 different snails. Now, some of the snails are in the same categories. Like there's more than one type of snail that's in the group that we might consider 2 different snails. But I was going to go with the most traditional to the most pest. We'll leave it like that. And I think the number one snail, I mean, there's 2 big snails that everybody likes. It's the Nerites and the mystery snails. And I really think the mystery snail is the number one snail out there. I mean, what do you think about that, James?
I love the mystery snail.
See, I knew he did. The mystery snail has a great range of temperatures between 65 and 80. So you're not going to want to necessarily put them in with your warm fish, but you can keep them with your cool fish. And I honestly think they can go colder than 65. And I'm going to tell you why. I used to keep apple snails, and the apple snails are considered a mystery snail. They get a lot bigger. Oh, thank you. I was going to ask you to pop photos up.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Can you type in apple snail?
I don't know how to type.
Apple snails were awesome back in the day. They were like one of the main selling snails, I think, when I was a kid. And now you hardly see them at all. But they'd be like the size of almost a baseball. Actually, Bob Kaler and I saw some in Nashville not too long ago.
Well, but they just Haley at Oddball had some when we went with Peck Tech out there.
See, the reason why I like apple snails is they're too big for most of your goldfish to eat. Your goldfish isn't going to be able to put a baseball-sized snail in its mouth and choke on it. I mean, unless it's a really big fish, but most of them just can't do it. So that was our snail that we kept with our really big fancy goldfish, and it worked great. They didn't mass produce, you know, but it was probably because we weren't looking to try to produce them. You know, we weren't dropping the water levels and stuff. But I mean, and the apple snails pretty much all come dark. I think they're all pretty much the more blah colors, but the mystery snails themselves, the smaller ones, are super pretty. They handle a wide range. They prefer to keep the higher pH. But you got anything to say about the mystery snails? Like, you've bred these things.
Yes, I love mystery snails, specifically for the colors you mentioned. You can get a lot of awesome color variations. I'm going to pull mystery snails back up so we can look at some colors here. I've had people ask, if you're going to breed mystery snails, you want to make sure to have the water lowered in your aquarium. They need to be able to get out of the water to lay that clutch of eggs on the glass. I have also had mystery snails travel up to a foot up the drywall on tanks that I've had against the wall if I didn't have the water level down, and then lay a clutch on the drywall. Let me get this pulled back up here. There we go. Mystery snail poop. I love how it auto-corrected that. Yes, a lot of people search mystery snail poop. There we go. I mean, look at the amazing color variances you can get here.
Look at the meat. I like the meat on that one that's a blue or a light blue.
Yep.
Someone, I don't know if it's Sean or Haley, someone had a clear like purple mystery snail that looked like it had flecks of metallic in it. It was insane. So yeah, I mean they are really neat.
They really are. S is asking, have you guys heard of the African land snail? I'm trying to buy some shells and create a tank for Brevis Shelleys. I have not heard of the African land snail. What I have found is that a lot of people, for shell dwellers, will order escargot shells off of Amazon and get them shipped in that way. If you're looking for shells, if you're specifically looking for African land snail shells, I don't have a source to give you for that.
Yeah, if they're what I think they are, they're gigantic.
And like you mentioned, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Big. Well, it might just be too big of a shell because a lot of shellies don't need that big of a shell.
I just wanted to say, you were talking about the meat on the snails, as you put it. That's another awesome thing is you can get different variations of the lighter meat with the darker shells and vice versa. So it's really fun. It's almost like guppies, like making a mutt guppy tank. You can get some really cool different things out of a mixed group of mystery snails. Yeah.
Now I've got a question. I've got purple mystery snails that I didn't plan on getting. Somebody gave them to me. And they're pretty neat. But now if I mix them with, let's say, that pretty blue one, are they going to have variants, or are some of them going to be purple and some going to be blue? Or
so the last clutch I just had hatch, that they've grown out now. They're smaller than a dime still, but you can definitely see the colors. I've got gold shells. I've got purple shells. I've got the brown shells with the black stripes on them. It is a wide variation of color, all within that one clutch. And that's because I've got a lot of different colored snails in that one tank that clutch came out of.
Oh, you know what? At the beginning of the stream, somebody asked me if I sell guppies. I don't sell guppies. I just raise them. And I totally forgot. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to digress, but I just wanted to say that. Well, that's awesome. Is there anything else? I mean, we don't really on this. I thought on this episode we would kind of just talk about the basics. You know, not actually how to actually breed them and stuff. If there's any particular snail that you see here, I thought this would be a good way for us to introduce them, and then you go and actually look up the video on how to do it. Because otherwise, we could talk a whole hour on each individual thing.
Absolutely.
But, okay, so now, do we go Nerite snail?
Well, real quick, Cody Frazier wanted to ask about preventing them from breeding. So if you want to prevent them from breeding, just keep the water level up and keep a lid on it so they can't get out. They will not lay eggs underwater. So if they can't get a good place that's got some clear area for them to lay the eggs out of water, I've yet to see one even attempt it. Now, you might find them on the lid, but in that case, if they're breeding and you don't want them to breed, you could just scrape the clutch off and toss it. As callous as that may sound to some people, but if you're wanting to avoid any more, just raise the water level up, put a lid on it, and generally that does the trick.
Yeah, I've seen them do it on the bottom of lids before. And, yeah, if you don't want them, scrape them off. But that is one of the few snails that are actually, I think, nice. Okay, let's talk about the good and the bad of snails also. Because snails are great for your fish tank because they eat all the waste. You know, they eat all of your dead plants. They eat a dead fish that might be in a corner that you don't see. They'll eat a shrimp that's hidden underneath or behind a rock that you don't see or can't find because it's a shrimp and it's small. You know, they do a wonderful job at cleaning. The number one thing on every single snail that I see for diet is algae. Every single one of these snails, even the ones that are like considered things like the assassin snail. It also, I mean, yeah, it eats other snails, but it also eats algae and it's plant matter. So, I mean, I don't think that they're super great necessarily at cleaning all your algae, but you know, I think what they do best at is cleaning the dead stuff that you can't find.
Exactly, the dead stuff you can't find and uneaten fish food, things of that nature. They are good for that. That being said, I'm not telling you to buy one specifically to continue overfeeding your fish. If you know that you've got extra fish food that's rotting on the bottom, just feed less. But they are great at getting the fish food that maybe your fish overlooked. And like you said, maybe a fish dies and it's off in the plants and you don't see it, you don't know about it. So we were going, how would you not know? Well, both of us keep a lot of guppies. And it's real easy if you lose a fry or a small one in a planted tank, you may not even know a guppy has disappeared.
Yeah. Well, for sure. And I like to keep shrimp also. I do overfeed any tank that has fry. I overfeed it because I want my guppies eating food and not fry.
Exactly.
So I'm overfeeding it, but I don't want to see food particles in my plants. And I find that shrimp are my number one, warrior for that. But the snails, some people just love them. Amy from Sand Creek Aquatics too. She absolutely loves her snails.
Yep.
So
she got some ramshorns from me and was wanting some pond snails or bladder snails, which are generally considered a pest snail. But I didn't have any at the time, and now I've had an outburst of them, if you will. So, but I'm a huge snail fan. So,
yeah, I am not. But I still thought, you know what? I still should do videos or topics on things that I don't like also, because I think it is informative. And I do think that snails have their place. So it looks like he pulled up Nerite snail.
Yep, that's what you mentioned. So that's what I went for.
Okay, the Nerites are a little smaller than your mystery snails. But they make, look at those shells. They make the most crazy patterns on their shells. Super pretty. Let's see. They like really hard water. They like 7 to 8.5 water, but they also like warm temperatures. So they can go up to 85. So you can keep those with your rams and your discus.
And your zebra plecos.
Yep. And I mentioned Malaysian earlier because of the pH is low on those. But oh gosh. What likes heavy or what things like high pH and high temperature? Is that plecos?
Some of them. Yeah, plecos vary. So like the zebras, they enjoy a high temperature and a lower pH. But the Nerites do just fine. I've got my plecos. My zebra plecos are accustomed to my tap because I'm not a huge chasing parameters guy. When it comes time that they mature and I want to breed, then I'll work on lowering pH gradually and getting it to optimal for breeding. But in a tank that's 82 to 84 degrees, the Nerites have done really well in there, even not being at a super, super high pH. Mine's usually from 7 to 7.4.
Yeah, so, but Nerites are probably the second most popular, I would say.
And those you don't have to worry about breeding in your freshwater aquariums. So,
I didn't know about
if you're looking for something, as far as I recall, they require brackish to actually breed and for the babies to successfully grow. Like you end up with like little white egg patches all over stuff. But if you're looking for something that's not going to rapidly multiply, they're a good one that you buy what you want and that's what you got.
I am thinking I like Nerite snails better than mystery snails now.
Right.
Because I like less snails. I like my snails to be seen but not produce. Okay. Well, now there's one snail that I love. And there's one snail that I breed on purpose. And it's the slowest. That's my luck. I have the slowest breeding snail. It's my favorite. And that's the rabbit snail. I love Hercules snails, rabbit snails. I've got Hercules snails in this tank here, and I love them. The one that I have is the very top corner is yellow. The one below that has the white skin and the brown and white shell.
Those guys. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
They are really cool looking.
I absolutely love these guys. And they're so funny. Every time I walk into the room, they all drop off the glass. Like they see me and they just drop and they roll over and they pretend like they're dead.
I've seen it happen before.
It's like they play possum. But with that said, you don't want to keep them on a glass bottom tank because I've seen them break their shells, their tips.
Ooh.
So you want to keep them on a softer sand. But I feed those guys green beans, and they share my tank with my bristlenose that I'm growing out. So I throw a couple green beans in every day, and I've got probably 25 of those rabbit snails growing out, and there's probably another 10 babies in there that I don't see. And then my 5 bristlenose, and they all just get along, and I love that tank. And yeah, that is my hands down favorite is the rabbit snail.
They are an awesome snail.
And the one thing about them though is they don't handle a very wide range of temperature. I didn't realize this, but when I looked it up, they prefer to be between 20 or 75 and 80. That's a small window for their favorite temperature. But luckily I keep my fish room at 76, so it works out. And they get real big. They're supposed to get up to 5 inches, so that's pretty neat also. My biggest are about 3.5 to 4.
So let me ask you, because I've not done the rabbit snails. Do you feed them any green beans? I know I love, and somebody else mentioned green beans. For fish sake, mentioned feeding green beans as the favorite food. I do that a lot with mine. Of course, I like to get my my plecos and my snails in the same tank as often as I can because I can just bulk them up real well with green beans and they go crazy for it. And there's never anything left over of the green beans by the time they get done.
There's not. I do green beans every day. I just bought a zucchini because I'm going to do a video on a snail trap. 2 different homemade snail traps. I was going to bring them on tonight's show, and then I was like, this is just going to get water everywhere. So I decided not to do it because it's just too messy. But I bought a zucchini because I'm going to use that as bait. But I was also going to feed it to my bristlenose here and my rabbit snails. All the other snails, they can just fend for themselves because I just don't care about them.
Right.
I mean, even the poor purple mystery snails. Sorry, guys. You can eat fish food.
Those might disappear out of Ed's tank next time I visit. I'm just kidding.
Totally fine. I wouldn't mind whatsoever. Less snails, the better.
I accidentally scooped them out while I was cleaning out duckweed and cleaning your filters.
They're in with the tank of fish. I don't know what they are.
Right.
It was this tank of free stuff that I got. So that's why I threw all the free mystery snails and the free fish I don't know. It's all in that tank. And I've got a bunch of not jungle val, but just normal val in there. It's doing crazy good. I need to start pulling it because it's almost getting too congested. But yeah, so I highly recommend these guys because they're just so much fun. I don't know. I'm not reading the chat very well. I hope I don't know if anybody else has gotten into rabbit snails.
I'm keeping my eye out. A lot of people talking about feeding them different things. You don't have to blanch the green beans. I just use them straight out of the can. That's kind of my go-to is canned green beans. I do like the French style, the French cut, but I use just any green beans. I've tried them all and all different brands. I just drain them and drop them in. I'm good to go.
I do. Come on, man. I do frozen beans, green beans, and I take a bag and I split it and I put it in 2 Tupperware containers and I pull 2 beans out every night. I put it in some hot water, then I split it and I drop them in. It takes literally 1 minute in hot water for a green bean to de-thaw. It's so insane. It's faster than bloodworms. It's the fastest de-thawing thing in the world.
We do have a rabbit snail question. Erie Lockhardus, says, can rabbit snails be kept with betta fish?
Yeah, I don't think they would have a problem at all. My bettas don't go after. I've got a couple of ramhorn snails in with my betta, and you see there, I'm not a fan of ram horns, but I'm gonna keep a couple in there to help clean that tank. So they have their purpose, and I don't ever see. I've heard that they go after their antennas. Some bettas might, but I've seen like a betta go up to a snail and he does his thing, and the snail's not even looking at him, but he just wants to flare at somebody. But I've never seen him actually attack a snail. Have you ever seen a betta attack a snail?
I have not, but I don't really have any super aggressive bettas. Would it surprise me? No. I have seen angelfish go after like mystery snail antenna. So just keep in mind when mixing your snails with your fish, if you've got fish that are a little bit ornery, they may try and antagonize those snails, especially if they've got large antenna.
Yep.
John Cox says his female betta nips antenna.
Okay. Well, and it goes the same way. Some shrimp, bettas have no problem with. Well, all fish, may not have a problem with it, and some fish are going to go and try to rip their legs and antennas off. It just, it really depends. It's hard to judge one fish from another. So the one thing, though, is like a Hercules snail, if you find that at a fish store, it might cost you between $12 and $20 because they're kind of an expensive fish or snail, and they don't breed fast. They just have, 1 or 2 babies a month. So they're super slow breeders. They're super slow growers. That's why I like them. They're just so easily controlled. I really wish Nico would move.
So
he's my notes.
Somebody's talking about potentially pulling out all their fish and nuking a tank to get rid of bladder snails or pond snails. You have anything on your list that would help deal with some of the snail population?
Yes. Well, there's 2. Well, okay. I was going to go into my traps. So I'll be making a video in the next week on how to get rid of most of your snails in your tank, or a large number. It'll knock out. If you keep the trap in there a couple times or make a couple of these traps, you're not going to have a problem anymore. But you can always go with, predators. And one of the other snails on the list is an assassin snail. So I don't know if that's what you were hinting. Oh, you did. And assassin snails are super pretty.
They are.
So the problem is you can get an outbreak of assassin snails. I've heard of that. So it might knock out one thing, and then you end up with a bajillion assassin snails. But at least they're pretty. But these guys, they like to dig too, don't they?
I've not actually kept assassin snails, to be honest with you.
I've never actually kept them either because I'm very weary of any type of predators. I've watched videos on how these assassin snails work. They have like a spear, and it's disgusting, but they jam it in. They come up next to another snail, and they jam it into the other snail and just start eating the snail from the inside out. It's terribly disgusting, but it's kind of cool too that nature has made something like this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Zen Ginger's talking about loaches. Most loaches love snails. I have zebra loaches, yo-yo loaches, and I think they're gold loaches. And they all, I keep them in tanks to try to wipe out the bladder snail problems that I have. What'll happen is the tanks I don't have shrimp in and I overfeed to keep the guppies happy will get explosions of bladder snails. And that was going to be my last snail I was going to talk about. But
And that's technically just showing you an imbalance in your aquarium that nature's trying to fill the void on.
Yeah. And so, I mean, but pea puffers. I was actually talking about this with Kenny earlier today. He's like, what I do is I just pull my fish out of the tank and I throw my pea puffers in there and let them take care of it. And then I move the pea puffers to the next. And I said, the problem, Kenny, is you've got like 3 cichlids that you pull out. I'd be pulling out a lot of fry, and that's really hard. And those pea puffers are going to destroy whatever fry I don't pull out. So, and I'm always paranoid that my loaches are going to be eating my fry, but for the most part, it's been going pretty well. So, and I really like how loaches look. I think they're a beautiful fish. So that works for me. There's little traps that you can do. Like you could take a container and notch the side, like a little round side on it, and then just go like this with your on your glass. And like if the snail, let's say this little thing is the snail, and you would catch it with the into the hole of the thing and then push it up, and then it falls back down in, and you can just catch them all off the side of your tank like that. I know that's a terrible demonstration, but it's like a handheld trap, and then that's perfect for like if you have cichlids that like to eat snails, or dropping it in for any type of fish that like snails. I've got a gigantic tinfoil barb, and there's never a snail that lives in that tank because he eats every snail that's in there. So I'll drop snails, and he's like a fish garbage disposal. He likes all the nasty things. But yeah, so there's a lot of fish options too.
Absolutely. One thing I do want to point out that was mentioned in the chat, clown loaches generally not being the answer given the size that they do achieve. So keep that in mind. I saw, not in here, but I did see on another platform, someone said, get some clown loaches, and the person had a 20-gallon tank. And it was like, no, you don't recommend clown loaches for somebody with a 20-gallon tank to get rid of bladder snails. My thoughts on it.
I don't have any clown loaches. I love them. I mean, I would love to have a whole mess of them, but they get so big, I'm not going to do it. And I like that. I keep them just like Corys, because loaches like to swim in groups, just like Cory cats like to swim in groups. So I'm always, now here I'm probably terrible. I normally keep my loaches in groups of 3 instead of 6, just because I don't have very big tanks, and I'm taking 3 out and I'm dropping them into another tank just to keep cleaning tanks. So
real quick, I want to say, Mr. Fish, sir, good night. I'm sorry I missed you on the way in. I appreciate you hanging out with us, Brad, and I hope you have a great night, my friend. Somebody has requested we look up these black spike snails.
Oh.
I'm going to pull this up. Do you have those on your list?
I do have those on my list. Oh, devil spike snails. But I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
These things are crazy awesome. They handle they like hard pH. They have a temperature range of 70 to 78. But you know what? They have a major drawback. They eat live plants. And I think that's why there's not a lot of them that we see, like in our markets. Because they pound your live plants. But they are cool. I love that red one. Check out that red one there. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're neat looking snails, but I don't want something that's going to kill plants or eat plants,
I know. That's the thing, is I think they're one of the coolest snails because of the spike. But major drawback when it comes to eating your live plants. I mean, they'll eat algae and dead stuff just like every other one. I mean, your assassin snail is going to eat algae and dead stuff also, but it's also going to eat snails. These things are going to do all the same things as your assassin, but it's going to assassinate the plants instead. So, yep.
Somebody asked if we ever see the larger ramshorns. I have seen them in a couple pet shops here. The massive ramshorn snails.
Well, and then sometimes I get a giant ram snail. And like I watched some video about every so often their DNA makes one. It's kind of like a human. You know how the DNA will get into the gland in your head and make you a giant. So every so often I get a really gigantic one too. That's just gigantic. But yep. Well, ram horns are on here also. But yeah, those are the devil spikes or black spikes. They're cool. They're cool, but
I'm sorry, I'm playing in the chat and it's ruining your list. I'm throwing it all out of order on you because I'm going with what the people are talking about.
No, it's totally cool. So we're kind of hitting them all. I mean, this was actually I listed as my third favorite looking snail, but one I would not keep. So has anybody else had these things? Because that's the interesting thing. Like, can you feed them enough that they're not going to eat your live plants? Or will they not mess with your Anubias? You know, are they just going to eat your softer stuff?
Oh, wow. YouTube deleted my comment. That was nice of them. Sarah's kind of mentally prepping for surgery tomorrow. And I typed thoughts and prayers, which, you know, good vibes, whatever, depending upon your beliefs. But I typed thoughts and prayers because that's my beliefs. And YouTube deleted that almost instantly.
Wow.
So,
yeah. Oh, well.
Let's see.
Can you type in Merry Christmas?
Zen Ginger said, I would with Nerites and brackish water to fresh, but okay, she's probably answering another question. Knowing Zen, she's handling everything. And I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted. I've got, I usually keep Bird Garden's 24-hour live stream going on the computer, and I thought I saw some beady eyes, and I know he's had some raccoon issues, but it was not. It was just some rain glistening. But it was distracting me for a second. Thought there was going to be a raccoon pop out on the bird feeders again over there.
Thank you guys for typing in Merry Christmas. I would have been very disappointed if we weren't allowed to say Christmas anymore.
Ed would have left YouTube.
I would not have been pleasantly happy at all. I would be very grumpy. So thank you guys so much. And, you know, happy Hanukkah too.
As well. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
What do we got next on this list?
Okay, well, let's talk about ramhorn snails. Since we had them there for a second. The ramhorns, they're kind of a sketchy group too, because occasionally there's a whole mess of them in their line, and they're almost a pest at some point. But I mean, some of them are great. I know Haley has ramhorns that have little purple or little pink bodies. Mm-hmm. I've got some of them that came in on some of her plants she gave me, and I love those little guys. They're cute. I mean, I'm not going to try to breed them, but I prefer little pink guys than the gross ones. So, but I read that sometimes there's some of these guys will eat your plants also.
It can happen.
So, I don't know. What were you going to say?
I said they are neat, and I do enjoy them. I certainly prefer mystery snails, but ramshorns I have found to be a fun addition to my tanks. Certainly more so than the pond or bladder snails.
Yes. I've got kind of red and brown ones. But, and yeah, I see their egg sacs all over my tanks on the glass. If you go down, it's like a little gelatin with little eggs in it right there. I am constantly cleaning those out of my tanks. And I don't know if the bladder snails have the same type of egg sac or not. I think the bladder snails make a goo on your plants. It looks like a clear jelly. And I whenever I'm in there and I see one of those, I pull it out because that's just nasty too.
Yep.
But I'm not for sure who's doing what. So, but I know the ramhorns do that, so I get rid of that.
Cody Frazier would like to know, will assassin snails assassinate each other?
From what I understand, they don't. I've heard that you can get like a bajillion of them in your tank, and they won't assassinate each other. So I don't know if they get poked and they poke back, and they're like, "Oh, forget it."
That's what I was going to say. You've got a sword. I've got a sword. I'm going to leave you alone.
Hey, yeah, two guys with guns won't want to shoot at each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So let me clarify. A lot of people are saying that they haven't had issues with Ramshorn eating plants. They are not one that you have to really worry about that. It can happen, but it's very, very, very few and far between. It's not like the other we talked about with the devil snails eating your plants.
But like, unfortunately, I've got ramhorns in my 125 that are eating some of my plants. And so I'm going to eliminate all my snails in that tank and start over with snails. That's why I have the traps. So I know for a fact it does happen. It's terrible. But I think but from what I read, it's very rare. And it's like only a couple types that do it. And it's supposed to be against like even the law to sell those few types because they don't want them to get in our waterways.
Yep.
And somehow I've got them in one of my tanks. So yeah, I mean, pet stores aren't even allowed to sell them because they're so afraid that they'll get into the waterways and wipe out plants. So it's like, these guys are going to not be flushed. They're going to be ground up and stuck in my garden. I wish I had a puffer to chew them all up and eat them, but yeah. So ramhorns, either like them or you hate them.
Yeah, it's a mixed group in here I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yes, and generally speaking, like Gina said, they only eat the dead parts of plants. Usually it's the decaying stuff. However, if you're not feeding them, they will find something to eat. And they're not going to starve before they eat plants.
That's true. But I really think that I've got one of the few types that aren't allowed to be sold.
Right.
And it must have come in on one of the plants that I've bought in the last 2 years.
So we're running close on time here, but I wanted to get a question out there because some people asked it about snail shells. And do you do anything for the waters? Someone had asked about adding dead coral to the water to help with their shells.
Yep.
Do you have any advice on that?
My snails don't get extra pH, but my livebearers do. And the snails get benefit from it. But you can buy, I think, even a block that's called like shell hardener.
Yeah, Wonder Shell.
Yeah.
I've done stuff like that. And some other things. I found that the green beans seem to help keep everything healthy and happy.
Well,
yeah.
But I do crushed coral. And what I do is I take pantyhose and I make sure they're thoroughly cleaned. My nieces and my sister and my mother, I've given them all orders. Never throw away your pantyhose when you get a run in them. Give them to me. And then I take them, and if the hole's at the bottom, I tie it off wherever the hole is. And, so I'm using the piece that doesn't have a hole in it. And I drop like a cup worth of coral or a half a cup, depending on how big of a tank, and tie it up. And I drop it like behind a rock, and that'll raise your pH. Crushed shell will do the same thing. So.
And I hate stupid people. Pretty much hit all of them. Eggshells, wonder shell, cuttlebone, and crushed coral. Those are all things you can do to help with your snail shells. A lot of times it's not a problem, especially like John Cox mentioned, where we're at with our water source. It's not bad. But when you're breeding them in mass or they're multiplying like crazy, I have seen some calcium deficiency issues. I've added things in. I've used every single one of those. Cody Frazier's asking no super chats. The reason I mention that is because it's a great opportunity to say subscribe if you haven't. If you're watching this now or you're catching the replay, Ed has not reached 1,000 subscribers, and that is why there are no super chats. He's already got his 4,000 watch hours because people love talking and looking at this goofy guy right here, and he lets me hang out. But he needs 1,000 subscribers. That's why that is not an available option. But we appreciate the thought, Cody Frazier.
Yep. And I will never do, well, I shouldn't say never, but I don't ever plan on doing memberships If you want to do memberships, go to this guy and sign up to Fish Room Fever because we're partners. And whenever he does a special membership thing, I love to join him. So I kind of feel like we're like part of a team.
Yeah,
so,
I appreciate that, Ed. Definitely a wonderful team. And this guy's awesome. See, what more do you need to know? That guy right there, subscribe, support him.
I appreciate it. But yeah, so yeah, and you know, I forgot about eggs. That is a great one too. And I like putting my eggs in my garden, but I could always put them in, I guess, the fish tank too. But you know, I got crushed coral. It's just easier. I don't want to put crushed coral in my garden. But okay, let's go to Malaysian trumpet snails.
All right. Yeah, somebody just mentioned those a moment ago.
Okay, cool.
John Cox says, I like MTS, but rather have snails that stay above the gravel line.
I still think it's funny that we look like we're an aquarium co-op team.
We do, yeah. Huge shout out to Corey for listening and team for sending out the shirts to us. We really do appreciate them, and the hats and all the cool goodies and the coffee cup. My kids keep trying to steal my co-op coffee cup.
Now I do have these guys also, but I don't see them much, and I guess they like to bury themselves a lot.
Yep. Yeah. But to John's point that mentioned, I like stuff that stays where I can see it. They tend to stay in the substrate for the most part.
And they're little. I got these guys for free, and they've done well in like 2 tanks. And I got them from the other pet store in your town, the Aquarium. When I was buying shrimp, the girl was like so frantic trying to catch them. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, she was catching snails and just dumping them into the pack also. So that's how I got some of these guys. And they don't seem to breed like crazy like the other ones either. I don't know. Do you find them a slow breeder, or maybe I don't have the right?
I've really not had a lot of experience with them. I've got some, but I haven't really paid that much attention to them. I've generally, when it comes to snails, my focus is on the mystery snails and the Ramshorn snails.
Yeah, maybe these things are brackish or something. I don't know. I just don't know much about them. But I've got a couple, and they haven't died. Every so often I see them. But when I see them, I always get excited because I think it's a rabbit snail because they kind of have the same body. But rabbit snails are where it's at. They're cool. Okay. Oh, but the awesome thing about these is these guys like soft water and hot water. So they're like really good for being tank mates with your discus. And I wish I would have known about them way back when I had discus because I didn't have any snails in my tank. And they could have helped clean. Because one of my problems with my discus is I wanted to overfeed them. And I made my own beef heart mix. And so I'd drop it in there, and it would make a mess because I grind it all up. And they wouldn't eat everything, and so pieces would come down. Now, that's why I had the catfish, and they did a great job eating stuff. But it would have been nice to have some snails in there, too.
Absolutely. Sorry, I got distracted reading Dave's Aquarium Thoughts description. Looks like he's doing a giveaway after we get done here.
Oh, awesome. John Cox says you have to have a male and a female Malaysian trumpet snail. So there you go. And maybe it's that easy.
Absolutely. Awesome. And I will say that tends to help with just about anything. If you've got a male and a female, you're 100% more likely to get babies than with one of those two missing. Cody Fraser says, off topic real quick, where do you purchase any aquarium supplies, meds, heaters, hardscapes, plants, etc.? So
great question. I love it.
Great. Yes, absolutely. Ed, where do you recommend?
Okay. Now I shop around, but I generally go to my local fish store first. And I try to get everything from my local fish store. Now, that said, local fish stores are generally they have to mark up quite a bit because they may have high rent. They, they don't have the help that the big box stores get, where big box stores will order like a bajillion heaters and get them for next to nothing. My local guy's got to only buy 10, or otherwise he's going to go under because he can't sell 1,500.
Right.
But I don't mind paying the 20%, 10% markup to keep my fish store open, because that's where I'm going to get my giant autocats. That's where I'm going to get my healthy autocats. You don't want to buy autocats from PetSmart because they're always emaciated. They don't keep algae in their tanks, so they're sunk in. It's just, I really believe in the mom and pop shop.
Absolutely.
Now, that said, I also love my fish community. I love Corey. I have bought my first light ever. Corey convinced me, along with Sean Peck. And I mean, neither one of them talked to me personally when I decided this, but watching their videos I said, I'm going to try plants again, because these two guys are amazing and they can do it. And so I bought one of Corey's 3.0 48-inch flugels, and thing's amazing. I absolutely love it to death. And I can grow anything in that tank. And that's the tank that has the rams that are eating some of my plants that I don't like. But I'm going to redo the whole tank. I want to just give it a whole facelift. It's been really neglected for almost 2 years. I mean, it was my first planted tank, and now I've moved into the fish room, and it's like, I don't care about that one. But so yeah, I want to give it a facelift. But first, I'm going to catch the snails before I do it.
Absolutely.
But and then like Corey once was talking about the pythons. The Python company, we all love pythons. They're amazing. But they were selling to Amazon cheaper than what they were able. Amazon was able to sell them cheaper than what local fish stores were able to buy them from the Python company.
Yep, it's still that way. Which
is just ludicrous and crap. So I bought my python from Diego from what is it? Multi-Tanks is now is
multipleaquariums.com.
Yeah, and Petzotics. And so I love Diego a lot, and he has a lot of good stuff. Corey has a lot of good stuff. Priscilla is getting into the game. Let's see. I bought, this is from Priscilla's Swiss Aquatics, is my flugel glass. So I like to help my fish family, yeah. My local fish store. I don't want to go to Amazon if I don't have to.
Right. Well, and I've got my local fish store. They now are selling online. They're not selling fish, but they've got a lot of dry goods. And then of course you've got people like KG Tropicals, keepfishkeeping.com. Links are not working right now. Priscilla was asking if she could post links. Links are not working for whatever reason. Otherwise, you'd be welcome to do so. And you're welcome to give it a try. Maybe they're working again. There are a lot of great sources, like you said, that can help people out more than Amazon does. However, as we touched on in the stream we just left, in my stream, if you're going to shop on Amazon and you have Prime, you have the option to help out any nonprofit organization with all of your shopping. Ohio Fish Rescue is one of those options if you're looking for something fish specific you wanted to help out. So you can still kind of help do your part for the community, even if you need to go on Amazon to get something.
And I have bought one major thing I bought on Amazon. I don't buy my filters. The only thing I bought off of Amazon is my lights. And it's just, you can't beat the lights. Right. I mean, I'm trying to cover 60 tanks and grow plants in them all. So I need a light that can do that. And I learned that from LRB. And now he's actually gone away from these lights. But the Aquanites, they're super cheap light, but they are an amazing light. I mean, for $24, I can cover 1.5 20 longs. I mean, that's crazy. And they don't create heat. They're They're only 4 watts, so they don't create any power. I set them directly on top of my DIY lids, and I'm growing plants like crazy everywhere from these little aquanites. So, and that's the one thing, you know, if I want a super pretty tank and I want to go crazy with it, I'm going to get something from Corey, you know, the great, awesome light. But for just breeding guppies, I'm going to go with my aquanites. And it's worked great.
Xanadu, glad to see you. I appreciate you sending the email letting me know that those fish arrived in good health and everybody's doing well. I was worried about them given the current shipping status with the United States Postal Service. It's crazy. Even sending something express, they're still like, nope, it's going to be at least 2 days. And I was like, you're kidding me.
So, but I hope, did we answer that question pretty good?
I think so. Wait, there was a question? I didn't think we did question. What?
It was, well, you asked the question where I get my stuff.
Yeah. And I'm the same way, pretty much the same rundown as Ed. Try the local fish store, see if you can support one of the non-corporate organizations if you're buying online. And push comes to shove, I do shop Amazon. Again, I'm not hating on anybody that shops Amazon. I have an Amazon affiliate link. So if you click on that before you shop, I get, 2 cents. And that helps me out, when people do that.
Well, so Diego's running 25% off right now till December 25th.
Nice.
So, yeah. I wish we could give you a link, Diego. He's probably already in bed. But yeah, I wish we could put up a link for Diego. He's such a great guy. He does so much for our community. He does. He always gives us things for our show or for our competitions, for all of our winners and stuff. I wish that the community could see what people aren't paying attention to Diego, and I think, and it's sad.
Mike said you're fired. You didn't mention going to fishroomfever.com. No, I don't plug that a lot right now. I've just got like basic accessories and like cleaning sponges and catappa leaves and lots of air stuff. But I do have something very cool that I'm proud to be the exclusive purveyor of, and that is the Bago Beach, brought to you by Rat Cross at Bird Garden, who may or may not be in bed at this point. It's a little late. Go check out the video of Ed and I playing in the Bago Beach. The link will not come through, Priscilla. YouTube's not letting links come through right now, so it didn't even show that you tried to post it, but I appreciate that. I do. But yeah, I don't bring mine up a lot because I'm not like, I don't consider myself in the league of actual suppliers, if you will. It's just kind of like I'm a hobbyist and I wanted to offer things. So it's like, oh, well, yeah, I want to buy, a pair of endlers from James, or I want to buy some plecos from him. Hey, I can also get these things from him while I'm at it. And that was my thought process,
I'm trying to find a James thing.
Versus going, I want to buy a pair of endlers and then I need to go here just to buy, 25 feet of airline. So that's why I started offering things like that as kind of add-ons to help make life easier for people.
Well, I bought these little sponges from James, and unfortunately, my cats love them. I'm going to have to buy like 10 of them next time I go to your house because they're baby cat's favorite thing to attack and throw around because it's so lightweight. But they work great on just pulling algae right off your tank. I love them.
I do too, and that's one of those things that if I didn't like them and use them, I wouldn't have them on there. John says, I want to support Ed by buying some guppies, Fish Room Fever. Who knows? We may become the exclusive purveyor of Chattanooga Ed guppies in the near future. We'll have to wait till springtime to see.
Between James and I bet we have maybe 30 different strands of pure strands.
At least 40 different ones, because so when Ed and I go places, not to digress, but when Ed and I go places, we buy different strains of guppies. That way we don't end up with both of us having the same thing. And it sounds weird because we're in 2 different houses and we've got our own stuff going, but that way we've got a larger option of awesomeness, I guess is the only way I know to put it. He can come over here and see stuff he doesn't have. I can go over there and see stuff he doesn't, or I don't have. We can swap things out if we want to trade guppies around. It's weird, but that's how we do it. He'll go, oh, I'm getting these. And I'll go, okay, I'll get this one. And, so.
like someday when I get the second fish room online, I would like to try to get one of each one of his strands, just so if something would happen and let's say, well, let's not say his house burns down, but let's say his son shoots a BB gun and breaks a fish tank and he loses all of his something, one of his fish, then I would have a strain for him and then he could start up again. That would be my goal, to help a buddy like that. And I think it'd be fun because then I get to look at his fish all the time.
Absolutely.
But I got into the guppy. I've loved fish forever. But when I hurt my back, I needed to do something. I used to play lots and lots of sports, and I used to work a lot. And I hurt my back severely, and I couldn't do anything anymore. So I thought, I'm going to compete in guppies. My goal is to win a ribbon or two with guppies because I like fish. And so that's why I started getting into it. And then the whole COVID, I don't know. Well, I can say COVID. It's my stream. The COVID thing happened and they canceled all the shows. I've got maybe 3 or 4 fish that are close to being quality enough to compete pretty hardcore, I think. And as a beginner, I'm in a special group where I'm only taking on like 3 people. So it's real easy the first year that I'd be in it. But and then it gets real hard once you win a couple in the IFGA. Absolutely. IFGA?
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, normally it doesn't roll off my tongue like that.
No, it surprised me. I was like, Ed got it.
I was like, wait a minute.
Not to move you along, but it's 12:38 in the morning our time. I wanted to make sure that we had things on your list covered. I don't know how many more snails you've got and what I might need to look up so that we can make sure we wrap this list up before Dave's Aquarium Thought starts, because we don't want to miss out on his giveaway stream or cut into his time.
Let's go to pond snails and bladder snails. We're going to group them together. These suckers, they're what we consider the pest, and they do a wonderful job. They really do. They're free. They do a good job. If you're trying to feed your fish, they do a good job. They clean well. They eat well. They have lots of babies. They handle virtually any pH and just about virtually any temperature. They're indestructible. But yet, I hate them so much. But yes.
The bane of your existence.
They're my bane. But then I actually put them... I have caught myself with a new tank and guppies, and I don't have shrimp. I throw a couple in. I actually do that. So I'm guilty of using them, but I don't like looking at a tank. Like right now, I'm looking at my wild mollies, and I see like 25 of them on the glass, and it just irks me because I don't like seeing them.
Right. So I should give you bladder snails and duckweed for Christmas. Got it.
Yeah. I have more duckweed than you can shake a stick at, and bladder snails hiding underneath it.
I haven't been down there to scoop it out in like 2 months now.
Yep. Well, I do that normally every Wednesday is my day that I do my duckweed. Mm-hmm. And I do it when I'm listening to the shows like Pam and
Dan's Fish.
Bob and Rob.
Yep.
Bob and Rob. But like this week I didn't, because it was our first week that we got to have fun, with the family. So we made French onion soup and watched BattleBots because BattleBots started up, and we watched some. Yeah, I love BattleBots. And this year it's been delayed and it's 2-hour episodes. Love BattleBots. Check them out, guys. I don't know how did I end up going all the way out there from cleaning duckweed? Sorry.
Oh, that hard segue to the right, and U-turn and all that. But so we've also gone way off on shooting the fish tanks with BB guns. Now people need to see a video of you doing that. We're talking about laminating the tank, percentages and variables of actually damaging the tank.
I gave both of my BB guns to my nephews years ago. So the best I could do is a 22. So I don't know. I think a 22 would go right through.
Yeah.
But my old pellet BB, I had a rifle that was a pellet and BB gun. One that pumped. It was a Daisy, but it was like the really good one.
Yeah.
I bet it would break a 10-gallon tank.
I have shot glass quite a few times with a BB gun when I was younger. And generally what you would see is, and I thought it was the coolest thing, it would pop a disc of glass out the backside. So you get this little hole, and then it would pop this cone-shaped piece of glass out the backside of it from the pressure, the stress, I guess, if you will, the way that it fractured through the glass on a molecular level. Neatest thing.
This is what I used to do is when we'd have communion at church, they went to the plastic cups that were throwawayable instead of the glass ones that were real heavy. And after church, I would go and I'd clean them all. And all the people would be like, oh, he's so nice how he cleans up the church of all the little cups. Well, I was taking all those cups and taking them home and shooting them with a BB gun. So, because they were the coolest target in the world. Because if you hit it just right, you could put 2 perfect holes through that little communion cup.
There you go. Oh, wow. We've ventured off.
Yep. But that's all right.
It's okay. We're here for fun. Everybody's having fun. I think we still got like 80 some odd people in here. 76 people watching, 82 thumbs up. So thank you all very, very much for that. Appreciate you supporting my buddy Chattanooga Ed here.
Yeah, I apologize, folks.
While we're way out in the middle of left field and not on anything in particular, can I just say, go check out Bird Garden. He's got an awesome show. I know a lot of us obviously like other things besides fish. Again, I'm sitting here watching. He runs a live stream over on there of his bird feeders. And it is, if anybody doesn't know, it is Rack from formerly River Life, now Pond Life. Same gentleman runs Bird Garden. But I really enjoy his channel. And I find myself often just kind of watching it. I have to cover it when I'm streaming. Otherwise, I get sidetracked watching the live feed. Since we were out in the middle of nowhere, I figured I'd throw that out there.
I need to ask Rack sometime if he still has any of his guppies. Because I would love to have a rack tank. A rack guppy tank on my rack of tanks.
There you go.
Because that's almost part of what I'm doing is half of my fish tanks I'm collecting fish tubers fish. It's a lot of fun. I don't know what we would have done if we had the plans that we originally were going to do, James. James and I were planning to drive out about once every other week to different people's places, to different shows all across the country. And I've collected so many neat different people's fish. It's crazy. I got a lot more endlers than I did guppies of YouTubers, which is really surprising.
So Bird Garden says, Chattanooga Ed, I have female guppies for you.
Oh, that's so awesome. I would love it. And I will put a Bird Garden, River Life, and a Pond Life sticker all underneath them. Because that's cool. I wish Baby Cat would put her tail down.
I got some of those stickers. I need to get a tank back here.
Look, the cats are licking each other. Oh, Nico got shy.
All right, so let me hijack your stream. Do we have anything else on that list I need to pull up? Because we are approaching Dave's time, and it's 12:45 a.m. All right, we made it through the list. Any last-minute questions about snails? Anything we didn't cover, feel free to throw that out. Priscilla says, okay. Oh, James, ask Ed if we can do some tank breaking tests when I come to Tennessee, please. So I do have one tank that I've not decided how I'm going to destroy it on video, but I am going to destroy it on a video. We'll find out one of these days. I'll decide exactly what I want to do because it's got one cracked panel and it's just not feasible to fix it. It's a little 5-gallon. So that sucker is getting destroyed on video. I did also do a torture test on the Aquarium Co-op Lee specimen containers. So you can see how these things fared being jumped on and chucked across the room and dropped from high up distances. That's coming soon. Now that I can talk a little bit clearer, I can go ahead and do the voiceover for it. I've done the voiceover a couple times and it just sounded horrible. So
yeah, I wish I still lived in Missouri, Priscilla, because I had a quarry in my backyard and you could shoot anything in there. Now in my backyard. I'm like on the side of a cliff, and down at the bottom is a college. So I don't want to do any shooting in my backyard now, which is kind of a drag.
So,
but I would like to tell everybody, go to your local fish stores for Christmas and get something. It'll help them a lot. But there's also a lot of great people selling fish. Like James he's not selling fish right now, but keep in mind that he is. I know Rena was saying that she's selling some fish. There's almost everybody has fish. I don't know where she sells them, but if it's on Get Gills, go to Get Gills and just look at a lot of people's fish. There's a lot of great ones. Like I know that Tiffany White has some amazing guppies. Mississippi Hippie, she gave me some super beautiful Nebula Steels they're on Get Gills. Highly recommend. You guys, if you don't buy her Nebula Steels, you're really missing out because they are amazing. And I'm not just saying that because she gave them to me. Well, yeah, I am. I'm saying that because she gave them to me, but I got to see them in person because, she sent me the photos and I was like, yeah, they'll work because I wanted to add them to mine to juice up my DNA. But gosh, they're so pretty. So
we had a question regarding the difference between pond and bladder snails, if there was a difference in what it was. It was I hate stupid people. And yes, in fact, most people refer to bladder snails as pond snails, but they are in fact bladder snails. And there's this neat little chart that I just saw when we were looking at the images of bladder snails. So here's some of the differences. If you look there, pond snail on the left, bladder snail on the right. Most of us have bladder snails, but in fact call them pond snails. It was in fact Rachel O'Leary brought it to my attention in one of her videos, where she's like, "No, guys, you don't have pond snails. You have bladder snails. Here's the difference."
I like pond snails a lot better. I hate bladder snails. They just look gross.
Yeah. Yeah, pond snails grow 1 to 3 inches. There's a lot of variances, but you could just look at the picture there.
Wow, I didn't know pond snails got that big. Maybe I don't like them either.
Yeah, pretty much all of us have bladder snails. We just reference them as pond snails. It's a common thing that I see. I don't yell at people for it. Even though we often will use them interchangeably, that is why. It's because most people are referencing one as the other one. In fact, they're not. And yes, my puffers eat both, says Priscilla. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
That was a nice, thank you for popping that up, James. That was nice.
Absolutely. And thank you for asking that. That was a good question. Good question.
James has the skills.
I don't know about that, but I'm here. I might as well be doing something.
Susan's here. Good night, Susan.
Good night, Fish Fan Mom. Susan for SLC Aquatics.
I should have put my glasses on a lot earlier. There's a lot of cool people here.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I believe Dave's probably ready to fire it up. He's usually willing to start a couple minutes ahead of time whenever we wrap things up here. It is 12:50 a.m. We've done about an hour and 20 minutes. I think it was a good show. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Dave's aquarium thoughts right there. That is the gentleman you'll want to go see. Can't post a link because YouTube's not letting us do links, but Dave's aquarium thoughts. It looked like you were doing a giveaway, Dave, from what I saw on your live stream there.
Oh, Mississippi Hippie is here too. She just said her store name is Mississippi Hippie Fishies.
Awesome.
Dude, everybody, I thoroughly recommend them. And she does a great job packaging them too.
I don't know, Dave. It says hashtag giveaway, and then it had maybe that was a previous. No, that was the one that I chatted in. You had hashtag giveaway, and then you had all the rules of your detail. Which I want to give you kudos, sir. The legal parameters which you have defined in the description of your video regarding giveaways, very, very intricate and well phrased.
But if you don't want to give stuff away, you don't have to.
You don't have to. I just went off of what you had on there, sir, in the description. Nothing was specifically listed for the giveaway, but it said hashtag giveaway and had this big disclaimer of qualifying. So I assumed, and that's why I asked.
Chevy Fish had something really cool to say, and I totally lost it. She deleted the message. Maybe she misspelled something.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Good one. Never been able to spell that. There used to be the smart kid in like 3rd grade that would always spell that, and he thought he was so awesome. And it's like, yeah, whatever.
Right. All right.
Big Bird had a big word too, and it was the ABCs. How did he say that? Alabama. I can't do it.
I don't know. We've lost it here.
Well, thank you everybody so much. The mods, you guys are amazing. Everybody, thank you for putting up with my goofiness tonight. And thank you, James, for being a super partner in crime.
Thank you for being my friend, buddy.
Oh, man, you bet. And once, if you guys are free tomorrow at 4:15 to 4:30, check out Lefty. We'd pop the link, but we can't do links. Does anybody know what Lefty's full name is? It's
Lefty
like
3213A. It's numbers. Lefty 3213A.
And there I will even talk a lot more nonsense. So
there you go.
Thank you. I that is nothing but a nonsense stream that I absolutely love. And I hang out with him every Friday. And then I go back and I hang out with James on the Fisher and Fever show. Now, what time you changed the time on us?
We've moved it to 8 o'clock. We're coordinating with Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. He's going to be going on from 7 to 8 Eastern, and we will be starting at 8 instead of 7:30, but we will still be on with Saturday Night Fever every Saturday, and we will get back to business. This upcoming show, we're going to talk about events for 2021, what's going on, where we're going, and where we're avoiding. And
if you can meet us or not.
Absolutely.
And one thing, if you meet us in person, we will have stickers.
Yes, I carry them in my wallet.
Me too. So,
all right. So Dave's Aquarium thoughts. Hashtag supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Is anybody going to type that? No, I bet Zen could.
I bet we get 2 people. But go check out Dave. He does an awesome show. I enjoy what he has going on over there. We will see you. Lefty show. Ed's over there now. Tomorrow, and then Saturday Night Fever Saturday. Love you guys. It's all yours, Ed.
Oh, you know what? Can you make Chevy Fish a mod?
I will try. No.
Wait, maybe I can.
At some point, yeah, because you can click the button and do it. I have to go into your studio, which means I need to sign back into your account.
Oh, Chevy, you're my first time I've ever done this. Wow. Man. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you on Saturday.